Threes and TDs. Today we're going to talk about Mike Malone getting fired. We're going to talk about Calvin Booth getting fired. And we're just going to talk about what's happening with the Denver Nuggets and that whole situation. So yesterday we find out that Mike Malone is fired. It's wild. I think I read, I don't know if it was on Blue Sky or X, but this is the latest that any regular season coach has actually gotten fired from the job. It's insane. It doesn't really happen. It happened with Memphis last week, and now it's happening with Denver. Maybe some things just to think about as we think about this. Number one, was Nikola aware of this? How does this impact the best player in the world? You got to think about it. Nikola's only had one coach, and that coach has been Mike Malone. So what are the implications? When I think about Nikola, I don't really think he's a person that says, oh, screw this, I'm going to ask for a trade. He's loyal. You can tell. He's very loyal to his family. I can see him being very loyal to his team. But I do wonder what this is going to look like. What's the next move for him? The second thing is, Brian Windhorst was talking about this today on First Take. And what Brian was saying is the Kroenkes, who also own Arsenal, who also own the Los Angeles Rams, they own sports teams all over the world. There was a study that was done, and it essentially showed that they are very, very slow to let go of coaches. Like, if that's the case, then what are we doing? How bad must this have been internally for the Kroenkes to say, yeah, we're not only going to fire the coach, who, by the way, has won more games in the last 3 years than any coach. You might say, well, he's got the best player in the world. Sure, but he's still a very, very good coach. What I'm reading and hearing is that there was a power struggle in Denver, that the GM and the coach weren't even on speaking terms. Essentially what happened, I mean, this has been brewing for a long time. Booth wanted Malone to play the younger players that they had drafted. And Malone, he's old school. He's not a young coach. And he didn't think they were ready. So he said, no, I'm going to play Russell Westbrook. If you look at what's been happening this last week, it has not gone well for the Denver Nuggets. There's been 2 games where Russell Westbrook has had some late game heroics, or I would call mishaps. It hasn't been a good thing. And so this is now building. They've lost 4 games in a row. And the Kroenkes said, forget this. We're just going to let go of both of them. And the reports that were coming out from Shams, too, he was saying part of what they hope is that this propels them to go on a regular season run. This kind of change propels them to go on a regular season run. It's just we live in different times. I thought that what Steve Kerr said was really, really interesting. Steve Kerr said, if Mike Malone can go, any of us can go. Like, if Mike Malone can be let go with 3 games left in the regular season before the playoffs, then anybody can be let go of. That was a very interesting perspective, but he's right. We have never had a regular season like this where 2 coaches are let go of with 2 weeks to go in the regular season. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. I do think that one of the components of this is that Denver was just not playing well down the stretch, and they didn't have the talent. They had missed on some draft picks. I know they have Christian Braun. I know they have Strawner. I know that there's these pieces, but ultimately Hope didn't get re-signed. There were players that were part of their integral title run that weren't being signed, and I think part of that cohesion was lost along the way. So I'm going to be really, really interested to see what happens going forward, because I do believe that there was a lack of talent. Mike Malone did not have a lot to go off of. The Kroenkes said, instead of choosing one side, they said, we're not choosing one side. We're not going to choose any side. Once again, big changes coming to Denver. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens going forward. See y'all in the next one.